Hey bold ones, and welcome back to my channel. I am a little bit behind, but we're gonna let that slide. Doing the best I can, and that's all we can expect from anybody, to just do the best they can at anything that they have going on. So let's get into this thing today. I want to talk a little bit about self-love. I felt like that would be only appropriate, being as it is February and Valentine's Day is coming up. So I want to talk a little bit about self-love. And I'm gonna just kind of wing this one. So this one might be a little bit all over the place, but we are going to try to do our best to stay on topic, stay focused, and hopefully y'all get something out of this at the end. So for many years, Valentine's Day has always felt like a very dreaded time for me, especially as like for several years, it seemed like I would be dating someone, I would be in a relationship the entire year, but then when Valentine's Day came along, crickets. I would not be with anyone. And so Valentine's Day would be coming up and I would be like, oh, I'm not in a relationship. This time sucks. I remember one year, maybe like 2019, I actually threw an anti-Valentine's Day party where I invited all my single friends and we partied. And while that was fun, and I don't discourage anybody who wants to do that, go ahead and do that, I now just feel like if I'm not in a relationship during Valentine's Day, it is a time of self-love, right? So I will love on myself, whether that be going out and buying myself some flowers or treating Valentine's Day as a self-care day where I do my face mask and I do my exfoliation things, or I give my hair a little bit more love, or whatever it is. But now at this point, I'm definitely treating Valentine's Day and this time in general more as a self-love kind of period, right? So I'm pouring a little bit more into myself and doing that in whichever way feels appropriate. If it's not monetary, I don't want to buy anything. So maybe I just want to read some more books that feel good to me. Pour into myself by booking an extra therapy session because it feels good to have someone to talk to. Or maybe it's more meditation, maybe it's more yoga, maybe it's more spending time reading my Bible. Whatever is a thing that makes me feel good. Maybe it's listening to music. That is something, some of my favorite artists, and that makes me feel good. And so I think that's basically what I'm trying to do for this Valentine's Day, but also for this season of my life, you know. Instead of getting discouraged about things that I don't have, I'm looking forward to things that I do have. And knowing that change is inevitable. You know, this season of my life, I might be single, but next season I might not be. You never know. And if something should happen and end up being single the rest of my life, that's okay too. You know, maybe that could be the plan for me, and that is what it is. I think the other part of that is probably accepting the present for what it is. You know, oftentimes if we are single and we desire to be with someone and that hasn't happened, we are down on ourselves. We are looking for reasons why no one wants to date us, or why we don't want to date the people who want to date us, or whatever the reason is. We're always looking for extra details or how and the whys and all these things, and it's just not the plan. I think that's another thing that I'm learning in this season of my life, in this singledom, in this time where I'm pouring into myself, in this time of self-reflection, is that I cannot control. Everything is not going to happen at the time I feel like it should happen. You know how we have this in our mind sometimes of like, yeah, I'm gonna go off to school, meet my husband, graduate from college, get married, have my babies, buy my house. You know how we had all these ideas, all these things we're gonna do, and all of that was like 21, 25, 30. You know, you had all these ages, and sometimes we realize that those things don't happen on those age cues like we think they should. Sometimes all of it happens, and that's great too. If you have hit those marks at 21, 25, 35, whatever, that's cool. But I think we have to roll with the punches. We have to adapt and change as our lives change. Life is changing for everyone right now with this new administration. Things that have never happened before are happening right now. And we're just having to adjust or make those changes and figure out what's next for us. Sometimes it's things we never thought. I look back to 2018, in which I never thought I'd be moving to Texas. It was just not on my bingo card in life, ever. I would visit Texas. I had family here, and that was cool. But it never felt like a place that would be like home. And it happened. And I've had to adjust, adapt. or roll with the punches and do what we need to do. Accept the season that you're in. Sit back, reflect, acknowledge. Maybe this season is tough for me. Maybe I am in one of the hardest seasons of my life. But know that change is going to come, that nothing stays the same ever. That if this season is hard, at some point it's gonna be over. And if it's hard, it's gotta get a little easier or easier. So I sit in that, and I think these are things that you also get when we pour into ourselves. We spend time with ourselves. We do the reflection. We realize where we came from and we accept where we currently sit. But I also think it's okay. Dream that was sold to us when we were kiddos. That's okay too. You can strive for that, and you can take the necessary actions to get there without that being your entire life. That's the other thing. Like, we don't have to sit still and like God's gonna drop our husband on our doorstep because we're sitting in the house watching Netflix all the time. No. You could go out to some of these social events, social circles, run clubs, speed dating, and actually attempt to meet someone and date and do all those things, get on dating apps. You can do all of that as long as you don't get too caught up in it, you know? I think that's the thing too, is like not being obsessive about it. That is not your identity. That is not all that you have going on in your life. You maybe jump on that dating app for 15 minutes. You've given yourself 15 minutes a day. I'm gonna scroll on this dating app and see who I can see. Once a month, I'm gonna go out to a social club or social event and see if I can meet some people or make some connections. And so I think it's okay to actively pursue this thing while we wait, but I think we just have to find balance. You know, one of my biggest things or favorite things to say is like everything in moderation. Food, friends, fun, everything in moderation. So I think the challenge right now is, if you're single or if you're in a season where you're just kind of doing your thing, to accept it, acknowledge it, pour into yourself with your favorite hobbies, activities, learning new skills, traveling, do all of those things, single or solo, until someone comes along. But also you can be proactive in helping maybe that person come along by attending these social clubs and doing these groups and things. Just don't get obsessive with it. Don't be over the top with it. Spend, like, I block out 30 minutes of my day to write. I block out whatever, minutes of my time connecting with new people and networking. Just block it out like that, you know? And I would say a lot about being bold is knowing and deciding what is best for you. The boldest decision you can make is to be you. Go out and do what's best for you. That, friends, is the bold move. So have a good week, you guys. Get out, be bold. I know there's a lot of things going on in the world right now. Try not to get too stressed about it and do what you can do. Be bold, friends, and take care.